that I've never really been angry in my entire life. It all came down to either having pain or fear of pain. I'm working on this spiritually because what you're saying hurts, but
Rachel, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hi, good morning.
Hey, Rachel. Thanks for calling.
I've been listening to you, and I don't know, I feel spiritually blessed to have found you this morning. And I definitely agree about the anger thing. I'm a recovering alcoholic for about 14 years, and one of the things we do is
Rachel, do me a kind favor. Just hold on. Let me take a quick break. I'll come right back to you after this break.
Okay.
All right. So you were saying that you are a recovering alcoholic?
Yes. Can you hear me?
I do, loud and clear. Go ahead.
Okay, good. So one of the things that you do if you're a really serious alcoholic in recovery is go through a fourth step and go through all of your resentments, like you were talking about earlier. But one of the things that I discovered in doing that is that I've never really been angry in my entire life. It all came down to either having pain or fear of pain. And everything after that became self-defense. So my ego was involved. And so I built anger, which is not a true feeling. But it's the fear of pain or pain itself is the base emotion for everything. And that was a real eye-opener for me.
What type of pain?
Any emotional or physical. Yeah. But the reason that I called was you were talking about women, female, being evil, and I agree with almost everything that you say, but I have a little trouble with that one because, like I said, I got an ego, and I'm a girl.
She's a lady.
But I love my mama, and she did teach me all my my morals.
I always love my mama. She's my favorite girl.
And I have a daughter, and she's precious too. So I'm kind of wondering if maybe I have a misunderstanding about that. Is there a difference in the spirit? Like spirits themselves, male and female, because I don't always. I mean, I do see it a lot especially like our government, public. There's some evil women out there, but there's also some good ones, like MTG and Terry Lake. I mean, some wonderful women. So I kind of, I don't know. I just wanted to throw that out there. I guess I see it both ways.
Okay.
So I'm kind of wondering if the balance is more of a spiritual gender. I don't know if that's a thing.
One thing for sure and without a doubt is that evil comes through the woman and it passes down to the children when they're very small and helpless and subject to the mother, the boys and the girls. And in that anger state that the woman is in, she turned the children away from the fathers and recreate them in her image. And the kids grow up hating the mothers, but they get this false feeling that feel like love, and they think they love the mother, but they really hate the mother. And it's hard for them to admit it because they're so emotional, and the devil tells them, oh, that's your mother. You got to hurt her feelings. She did the best she could for you. She bought you this and did you that. She was supposed to take care of you. She the one that had you. It was her and the father's responsibility, right? But the feelings, the emotions that you have, they come from anger. And ego is anger. Ego is hatred. But they changed it from hatred to resentment now to anger. They're going to change anger soon. But The anger, the emotion that you have is due to anger, and it comes from your mother, and that yearning that you have come is a yearning for the father. It's not for alcohol. It's not for anything but the father. But instead of you knowing that and going and forgiving your mother, you turn to alcohol. But you hate your mother. You could bank on it. And what you have done, what your mother have done to you have done it to your daughter as well. You have no love.
Oh, well, I'm working on this spiritually because what you're saying hurts, but um, on an emotional level, our dad he was in the home, but he was very distant. But I've always believed that a child needs both parents. That's very, very important to me. So even in my own life, with the troubles that I've had with my relationships, making sure that my children has access to both parents at all time has been priority.
But it hasn't
even though
worked.
I don't I'm sorry?
It hasn't worked, though.
Well,
When you say it hurt to hear the truth, what do you mean by that?
well, I don't like to think of myself as being inherently evil just because I'm female.
Well, it's not just because you're female. It's because the seed, the spirit, the evil of Eve have been passed down to all women. And it's not you per se, but it's the spirit of evil that made a home in you when you became angry at your mother. So it's not you. It's this thing in you that's driving you to cause you to do the things you don't want to do and prevent you from doing what you want to do, the right thing.
Yeah.
Have you forgiven your mother?
Yeah. Yeah.
You told her?
No, but apparently I need to.
Why haven't you told her if you? Why do you say you have forgiven her when you haven't gone to her and told her?
Well, I guess I just never realized that I needed to actually do that.
Yeah, and your father loved you. He just couldn't handle your mother, and he couldn't deal with you because you identified with your mother, and so you saw him and treated him the same way your mother was treating him, not understanding that your mother turned you away from him. You look at your father through your mother's eyes, not your own eyes. Your mother's evil.
Yeah, that's where I have a hard time because she's so precious.
And that's the worst kind of depression one.
Oh.
Because she makes you think she's just so sweet and nice. But you ask your father about her, and if you reflect, she was hell to pay. But she seems so humble and so sweet, so giving, so mama.
Yeah, I know they had troubles in my teen years.
Yeah.
And I don't know all the details.
You should ask your father. Go to your father. Dad, what happened? Why was it so different for you to deal with her? What was it I wasn't seeing?
Yeah. Well, he died.
He did. Well, just realize that just like your husband could not handle you, your father, because you end up marrying a man that's just like your father, right, weak. And your father could not handle your mother, but your father loved you. Fathers love their children. And when fathers leave, they don't leave their children, they leave the mother, but the mother makes you think they left you.
They certainly can twist it, yeah.
And you mentioned, so you got to face your mother, you're going to shake in your boots, and she's going to play all nice and sweet. Let her play the game that she want to play in her own hell, but you apologize for. Look at those. See it first for yourself. That there were little. Tell me a little irritating things that your mother would get on your nerve by at times, and you wish you
Well,
would stopped.
Yeah. She will say things out of self-defense that on her emotional level probably seems very true to her, but in like the reality to the rest of the world, it's like, well, that's not exactly how that happened. But I think she's speaking out of self-defense.
No, she's speaking out of evil. She's protecting the devil in her.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I can kind of see it that way. If we're talking about getting down to the very, very, like, spiritual cleanup, present this little dirty mess to Jesus and let's clean this out. I guess if we're getting down to that nitty gritty, I can kind of see.
I promise
maybe
you.
Women are just a little more deceptive.
They are. They're daughters of the devil. They're very cunning and deceiving. They know how to play the game. And the anger that you see in men is the anger of the woman. It's not normal for men to be angry. It's not their normal state of being. But when you see anger in the men, you're looking at their mama. And they have the same mindset and emotions as a woman, so they act just like the woman. They're jealous and envious and strife and revenge and everything, because men's supposed to lead you out of your hell, not try to keep you in your hell with them.
I know that's true. My honey bunny has saved my little tail so many times because I'm like very giving and I want to please everybody and make everybody happy, and he will put his foot down and say, no, that's not how we're going to do this.
See, you just like your mama. You're phony.
And I look back on it and I'm like, I am so thankful for him. And it's not like I'm trying to, I don't know. I think we need both. And I do believe that he, in those kinds of circumstances, is a way better leader because I'll give you the shirt off my back. And he's like, but
you know why?
Need that.
You know why you do that?
I would say it's out of love, but perhaps I'm wrong. I got the wool over my eyes and I can't see clearly.
The reason you do
but I know
that,
that he helps me.
The reason you do that is because you're just like your mother. You're wicked on the inside, and you're trying to appear nice to try to make yourself feel better, so that people can think you're a nice woman. She's a nice wife. She's a nice mother. But you're just like your mother. You're covered up evil by doing all these things so you can get a false sense of feeling good.
Well, maybe that's part of it, but
That's all of it.
I do try to stay spiritually clean.
You can't stay spiritually clean until you overcome evil, and God will cause you to be spiritually clean, because your nature will change from evil to love.
Well, this is very hard for me, so I know I got some spiritual work to do.
And when you say very hard for you, what do you mean?
Like I said, I really feel like I try to be as completely open and honest every morning with Jesus as I can, because I know that's what he came to us for. He's like, don't be deceptive, don't be
but you can't help it.
Hiding corruption.
Rachel, you're not going to be able to help it until your nature change. And your nature is not going to change until you forgive your mother. You got to face your mother. And forgive your father for not protecting you from her by realizing that he couldn't help himself, she couldn't help herself. And then you need to become aware of the devil. All thoughts are all lies all the time about anything. So God's going to bring you out of your imagination, which are thoughts, and he's going to take them away from you, and you'll be free. Then you'll be real.
And then I'll be able to put my foot down too.
Yes.
I'm still gonna appreciate that he's a strong voice for us.
Who?
Honey Bunny.
Oh, your husband?
Yeah.
Yeah, you should appreciate your husband if he's strong. Let me say this to you before I run. You mentioned some late woman, Ricky Lake or something.
Yes.
Her name Ricky Lake.
Yes. No. 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 Kari Lake.
Kari Lake and some of these other women that running for government. You,
And then Marjorie Taylor Greene.
you call them good?
Well, I think they're wonderful leaders for women.
No,
and I don't see corruption there.
they are the worst thing that ever happened to women. They are not good. There's no such thing as a good woman. And so this woman, Kari Lake and all the people, they're running for leadership because they're insecure, they're angry, they're just like you, and they're trying to make themselves feel better. Women were not created to lead. Women were created to follow. And those type women, they'll leave their children in a daycare center. They'll leave their children with the Mexican nanny. They'll leave their children to go out and get their ego fulfilled. They have no love.
Well,
And if you got to know them, you would see they're some of the nastiest women you ever want to meet. Especially if you say, you know what, you need to be home raising your kids. Raising the man, they'll go off on you like nothing going north. They're on an ego trip. They don't have, those are not women. There's no such thing as a good person anyway. Women don't have love. What the? And one last thing I want to tell you before I run.
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Never, ever, ever, but never, 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 as long as you walk this earth, never call yourself a recovering alcoholic. Never call yourself any other identity, because you take on those identities, you believe that that's who you are, and it keeps you away from who you truly are. You're supposed to die of the ego, and dying of the ego is dying of all false identities. You're not your thoughts, you're not your feelings, you're not your body, you're not an alcoholic. You only did the alcohol because you had conflict on the inside and you were trying to feel better, but it wasn't who you were or are. So stop calling yourself anything so you can die from all false identity. Then you should know the Father. You should know God.
Okay.
Never call yourself an alcoholic again. Didn't they teach you down at the alcoholic place that you're not an alcoholic? It's just what you do because you're in hell?
Well, in different words, but yeah, I think that's the spiritual gist of it.
Okay, so don't call yourself that ever again.
Okay.
Don't call yourself
Thank you,
good.
Jesse.
Don't call yourself good or bad, right or wrong, sinner or saint. Give yourself no more titles. You're none of those things. All your sins has been washed away. And God does not see you as a sinner. Only you see yourself that way because Satan is your God.
Yeah. Guilt. Yeah. Yeah.
And do the silent prayer. Are you familiar with the silent prayer? My silent prayer?
I guess I'm not. No.
Go to rebuildingtheman.com/prayer. And I want you to start doing that. Do your little hooping and holler, talking to Jesus. And when you're finished wasting your time talking to Jesus, be still and know God. rebuildingtheman.com/prayer.
Okay.
And let me know how it goes.
Okay. Thank you, Jesse.
And listen, go and forgive your mama. Mama, I'm sorry for resenting you for what you done to me. I realize now you can't help it. Don't ask for forgiveness. You forgive her and God will forgive you. And have no expectation. If she cry, let her cry. If she yell, let her yell. If she blame your father, let her blame your father. If she lay down and die, let her die. You forgive her and God will forgive you. You'll be free.
Okay.
All right?
All right. Thank you, Jesse.
Will you let me know how it goes?
I will. Yeah.
All right. I wish you well.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. You got to work on yourself if you want to come out of this hell.